What's up? It's your girl, Queen Boss Lady, and I'm here with one of the many testimonies. God is calling me to tell my story, and I wasn't gonna ever tell my story. I wasn't ever gonna tell the things that I've been through or the things that I've gone through. I just was okay if I healed and moved on so that I wouldn't be a problem anymore in these people's life, or they wouldn't be a problem anymore in my life. I thought that would be good enough, and I have chills like all over my body. I thought that would be good enough, but God says no. I want you to tell your story. You already turned this cheek, that cheek, this cheek, that cheek. You already moved on. You parted ways respectfully, and you let these people slander you, talk about you, degrade you, devalue you, and you did nothing. You was obedient. You kept working hard at what I told you to work at. So now I want you to reach back, and I want you to tell your story so that you help other young women and you help other young girls. I think I'm going to end up having to do like 3 different videos for this one, but I'm going to go down the list of all the people that tried to kill me while on this journey to loving God and healing and respecting myself as a woman. So I'm not gonna make this flip-floppy. I'm just gonna start with one person, and like I said, I'm gonna probably make it 3 different videos, but within these 3 videos I'm gonna sum up how these people tried to unalive me. So my truth and my experiences with these people may trigger them. That's not what I'm telling my story for. I'm being obedient to God. He said now is the time. I'm not telling my story to offend anyone. I'm telling my story to help someone, to heal someone, to let someone know that they're not alone. So let's get into the story. So I met this guy, and when I first met him, now this is going to be very in detail and very gruesome and very detailed. When I met him, I'm gonna tell my flaws too. You know what I'm saying? The truth is on the table, because I'm okay with being judged. I'm okay with being judged. That's the walk that I'm on. That's the journey that I'm on. So I was smoking weed at the time, and I went to the weed house to get some weed, and it was my first time seeing him. And I remember when I first laid eyes on him, he scared my soul. I had never been scared to my soul. I have been scared before, or watching horror movies, or somebody just jump out and frighten you, but I had never been scared to the core. Let me make sure. Okay. I had never been scared to the core, like the core of my stomach, the gut. And my first thought, and I said to myself, I said, oh my God, I'm going to see the devil. That was my first encounter with him. And I remember just standing there like paying for my stuff and just waiting for my trees or whatever, and he just taking a long time. I'm getting 10, like what you can eyeball that, but he's just wasting my time, got me standing there waiting, and he's just singing and humming and just very I just got this nasty, disrespectful energy from him. And it was just something about his eyes that I did not like. It really like disturbed my spirit. And I remember grabbing my weed after he gave it to me, and I just ran out of the house. And I was trying to get out of there as fast as I can because he literally scared me. So fast forward, I was working out at the park nearby my house. I used to work out every morning. I would get up very early and put my kids on the school bus and go straight to the park and work out. And I would get back home just in time before like people start getting up and moving around, because I'm from a real small, slow town, and people don't start getting up and moving around until like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, if they don't have to work. So I would run home so that I wouldn't run into strangers or run into the wrong people and things like that. So one day, I had just got done working out. I'm full of sweat. I got my workout clothes on, and I'm walking through past the field, and there was these inmates, and they was doing their yard work or whatever. And so me and him crossed paths again, and I was like, you know, love to me overcomes all. Like, being kind, it does go a long way, but at some point, and that's why God is telling me to tell your story, because at some point people just don't stop playing with you until you expose the enemy and what the enemy is doing behind closed doors, and how he's trying to devour you and rip you apart and rip you to pieces when you've already defeated him. Like, I'm not finna keep defeating the same giant. So by me telling my story, is like the deal, this is sealed. There is no going back. There is no coming back from this. So I thought if I spoke to this person, which I speak to people that cross my path all the time, because I feel like that's the respectful thing to do. I do have manners. I do have respect. So I was like, good morning, hi. And he gave me this nasty look like I didn't belong on this earth. I'm also like reading his mind as well. I'm picking up on his thoughts as well. That's one of my gifts that God gave me with. It's a very heavy gift to have. And it comes with a lot of responsibilities, you know, because sometimes I don't feel like invading people's privacy, but it just happens. So he looked at me as if I did not belong on this earth, like I did not belong here. He gave me the nastiest look. Really, he gave me the nastiest look that someone has ever given me before in life. But then when he saw the inmates, he got like a big smile on his face. And that scared me again. So I began to run home very fast. And I was like, don't look back, don't look back. It was like the boogeyman was after me. So I made a left, made a right. I was almost home. I was running. And all of a sudden, there he is running beside me. Like, he literally caught up to me and was running beside me. He had this big ass Joker smile on his face. And I was like, okay, now he done kind of like warmed up or whatever. And he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, and I was like, you know, I spoke to you back there, and you just, you know, you gave me a mug or whatever. And he was like, oh, I was just trying to meet my homeboys or whatever. So, just fast forward to me, just falling in love with him, making a mistake. I should have went with the feelings and the emotions that I was feeling at first, but I don't have any regrets because I got my beautiful daughter out of this situation, and I'm gonna get to that. So, we began to date, and, you know, me just talking to him, he just led me on, but he told me that he did just get out of prison, but, you know, he wanted to do right. He was working, and, you know, he wanted to continue working. He didn't want to do the street thing and, you know, sell, you know, whatever, street pharmacist. He didn't want to do that, so I'm like, why are you doing it? So I was trying to like encourage him to stop being, you know, doing the side hustle and being in the trap house. Like, you literally just did 6 years. So me personally, I know for a fact that he started doing witchcraft on me. He started doing voodoo on me because he just looked it like so handsome to me. And this is a person who I was not attracted to him in any way, shape, or form. I wasn't attracted to his features, his face, his body, or nothing. But he gave me something. He gave me some cake one night, and he always would bring me food. And ladies, this is why I'm telling you this, because you need to be cautious of men bringing you food. I would advise for you guys to, y'all getting to know each other, go out on a date, because he started bringing me food every night. And the more I ate this food, like the more I just was like wanting him and start craving him and things like that. And so we started dating, and he moved in with me, and we went half on a baby, pretty much. This is how I know that it's magic, it's voodoo, it's witchcraft. It's like, because I could not, for the life of me, I could not think straight. I could not think straight. He already had a baby on the way from a previous lady that he was messing around with. I mean, oh my God, I did not mean to call her a witch, but she is a witch. She is in fact a witch. And he already had a previous child on the way. And me, I was being selfish. I'm going to take responsibility for the parts and the roles that I played. And I wasn't being smart. I wasn't thinking. But I was under the influence of witchcraft and voodoo. And I was being selfish. And I asked him to give me a baby. And so he did. And that's where everything just went crazy. It just went downhill. I couldn't get him to like focus on me, sit still. Like he was just like just like a dog that you just let off the collar, and they just running around everywhere. And I would do certain things, like he would provoke me. There was a lot of provoking going on. When he met me, I was in the church. I was into reading my Bible. I was very still and very calm. I was a thinker. I would think before I act. I was in the middle of healing from other situations. And so I just noticed throughout us dating, he would get mad if I wanted to go to church. He would tell me, like, you don't have to go to church. Why are you always going to church? Why are you always reading the Bible? I remember one night he called me, and he was like, so you're not going to, like, pull up on me because I'm not home at a certain time? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to force you to be here. And he was like, so what are you doing? I was like, I'm reading my Bible. And he was like, why are you always reading that? Why are you always reading that? So I'm being led to say that I want to tell what happened behind the scenes, because I'm healed, I'm whole, and it's okay. Because this person literally slandered my name to a whole community. His thing was, like, after we got kind of deep in, he would tell me that I think I'm all that. I'm too full of myself. I'm very conceited. And he wanted to devalue me. He wanted to knock me down a few pegs. So, like I said, like after I got pregnant, things got crazier and crazier and weirder and weirder. And I was trying my best to like detach from him, get myself, prepare myself for this child that I was going to be taking on as another single mom again, because I knew like he was just going to, just act wild. And so this woman, that woman, this woman, it's like he never came back and tried to make things right with me. So that's how you know when a man is not serious about you and with you. Because if y'all are in a serious relationship and y'all break up and you're pregnant on top of that, and he's not trying to get you back and do the things that he needs to do to get you back, he was never serious about you in the first place. So I had to experience my pregnancy on my own, just different things that were just so uncomfortable. I lived upstairs. I couldn't get him to come by and help me bring the groceries upstairs. If I had to do laundry, it's like I had to tote all of this and do all of this myself. It was very hard on me. and he just laughed while he was with, his other women at the time, and then they would just laugh at me and pick at me and taunt me. And so I remember that after I had my baby, he really just, vanished. He went his own way. I wasn't sweating it. I had accepted fate that I'm a single mom, and I'm just gonna love this baby and nurture this baby with the love that I have within me, and what I have I'm gonna give to this baby, and continue to pour into myself and continue to heal. So let's fast forward. I just felt like I was breaking the witchcraft and the voodoo off of me, because I began to like not worry about him, or not even try to have him involved or ask for his assistance or his help or anything like that. So I became stronger. I went back to work too early when I had my daughter, so I didn't know anything about postpartum depression. All I knew, I was just at work and I was crying because I wanted my baby. And me and him had gotten back together. We were going to try to work things out, and it just didn't work. Like, after a few months, he just started doing, he was just so detached, and he was so jealous that I had a job and he didn't, and things like that. Now I just want to fast forward to him trying to kill me, because that's the most important part of my testimony. So I just got to a point where I was just tired of him not helping me financially. He became stable, and he had enough money to help me and help his daughter with bills and things like that, diapers, wipes, clothes. But he wasn't doing anything, and I would get so mad, I would get so furious. I would get on Facebook and I would talk so much shit. I would be like, how you a real nigga and you don't take care of your real kids, and I don't know why everybody like praises you to be such a real nigga when you got a baby out here, you don't help. Like, I would have to get on Facebook and talk cash money shit about him on social media, and then I would get a knock on the door, and it would be someone he sent with a box of diapers and a bag of wipes. So when those would run out, I would buy, and when those would run out, I would try to like ping pong. He buy it this time, I buy it next time. He buy, go back and forth. That's what co-parenting is. And I was so trying to do this with this man. I was trying to co-parent with him so many times. I gave this person like 700,000 chances to co-parent with him, to try it again, to just ignore certain things and put up with as much as I could, but still respect myself. And he wanted me out here acting crazy and fighting women about him, and I told him, no sir, I'm not about to fight. I got generational curses that I need to be fighting. I got generational battles. I got other battles and other fights that I need to be fighting for. But to be fighting for a nigga in the streets, I'm not about to do that. And that's what I used to tell him all the time. That was my whole saying, that I got better things to be fighting about. I'm not about to be fighting for no nigga in no streets. Like, I'm not even that I'm not even that type of woman. I'm not even that type of woman. He better not be crabbing. Because I wanna crab. He better not be crabbing. Because I wanna crab. I know. That's why I don't. So, but yeah. So, he would just continually try to bait me against his other baby mama and pit me against this woman, that woman. He was so focused and so obsessed with like having me look like a clown in the street and having me fight. Like, he wasn't even interested in me being a mother to his child. Like, he would rather me be out in the streets fighting about him. That's how selfish and self-centered he was. Like, I felt like he was jealous of my baby and how I was a good mother and how he didn't have a good mother. So he wanted to take me away from that. He even told me one time that if I was to go to jail, he would hold me down. He would represent me and show off for me in a way. I'm like, oh my God. Like, out of all the things that I have been through in life and gone through, and all the trials and tribulations and everything that I have gone through, like, I've really never been really embarrassed of anything that I have gone through. But when I tell you I am embarrassed of the boys that I chose to mate with, like, I mated with a whole snake. I am very much embarrassed, but God is telling me to hold my head high because I'm healed. I'm really not embarrassed anymore. But I just, when he would tell me certain things, like, I would put my own head down, like, just in shame that I really chose someone that to me was slow and mentally retarded. And I don't want to use those words because they're very harsh. And I love slow and mentally, handicapped people that's really handicapped. They really, they need that extra care, or they need to always have like a caregiver or something like that. Like, but these are men and they're walking around and they look like you and they look like me. They look perfectly normal, but on the inside there's nothing normal about them. And if they open their mouth and they begin to talk, you will begin to hear how nothing sounds like it makes any sense. I'm like, so I would have to go to jail for you to represent me, and I'm like, represent me? Oh, I'll make sure it's money on your books. I'll make sure. Why do I have to go to jail for you to do that? Now, mind you, these people have the big case of amnesia, because when they are possessed with demons, they do have a hard time remembering what they do and what they say and how they say it and how they do it. So these are the conversations that me and him used to have. Like, if I go to jail, he would hold me down because, like I said, he was more obsessed with me being in the streets, being a street fighter, than me being a woman and a queen and being a role model to my children and being a good mother and providing for my children and leading them and guiding them in the right way, because I don't want my kids out here fighting in the streets either. So I have to set a better example for my children. So it just got to the point where it got really weird, and I just decided that we're gonna part ways again, and we're gonna go our separate ways, and that's what he wanted to do too, because it just wasn't working. He was jealous that I had a job. He was jealous of the type of woman that I was. He would tell me certain things like, oh, why do you put perfume on before you go to sleep? That's always like been my habit. Like, I always just put perfume on before I go to sleep. Or I had this thing where I used to get the candles, and I used to get the same lotion as the candle, and that was just my thing. So I would have the matching candle with the matching lotion, and he was just disgusted that I even did anything like that. Like, you would have thought I was trying to holler at one of his homeboys. He was like, what? I've never seen that. He was disturbed because he never seen a female with Bath and Body Works that, queens, you get that candle and you can get the matching lotion too. He was disturbed. I disturbed his whole piece. Like, things like that about me disturbed his demons. So he left, and he ended up cheating on me with someone that stayed in the same apartment complex, and then he moved in with her and started paying her bills. Literally left me out in the cold, but he did it strategically. He's a very calculated person. He's very calculated. He made sure that my car had went down, and it was just like, it's when I brung him back, it's like God was carrying me. I got my job back, I had my car, so I was able to still provide for my children. But like, once I brung him back in, it's like my car went down, my job I didn't have a way to work. And then he wanted to bounce. Once he knew that my stability was gone, my means of transportation, I can't get his child around, I can't get around. Once he knew that was gone, like gone, he left. But as long as I had these things, he was always hovering around. He didn't mind pretending to be in a relationship with me or whatever. So he left me high. Yeah, he left me like just with nothing, no way to provide for my daughter, no way to do anything. And I had to walk to the store to like get her milk and stuff like that. And he went off and he bought himself a car, and he would drive past me while I'm walking to the store, and him and his new girlfriend would just laugh at me and pick at me. She would pick at how skinny I was. You know, I've always been skinny and petite. I've always, if I'm big, then that means I'm overweight. I'm not a big boned woman. I've always been skinny. So I just kept moving forward, and I said, God, this is so painful. You have to open up a door for me. You know, I'm being obedient, but God was like, if you allow him to come back in, he's just going to keep stripping you of your blessings. He's a blessing blocker. And I said, God, I won't let him back in. I promise, just save me, God. You know, we've all been there. So God gave me specific instructions to do, and I did them. And the next day, God opened up a door for me. God told me to call my dad and apologize to my dad for any wrong that I had did to him. And then he told me to call my mom and apologize to her for any wrong or any disrespect that I ever had caused her, anything that I had done wrong. Now, when I called my dad and I apologized, he was like, oh, lady, you're so sweet. You haven't done anything. You're a good daughter, da-da-da-da. Okay. When I called my mom, it was a totally different reaction. She started laughing, and she was like, yeah, it's hard over there for it, ain't you? It's, yeah, kiki. And she was laughing because that's going to be one of the other people. Like I said, I have a list of people that tried to take me out. She's one of them. He's one of them. And she was doing spell work on me too at the time. I'm cold, you guys, but she was doing spell work on me too at the time. I don't want to make this video too long. So the next day, God opened up a door for me. A new apartment complex called me, and they was like, we got your apartment ready. You can move in. You can get your keys, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, oh my God, I had to come up with the deposit money. So I was like, God, what am I going to do for the deposit money? So he was like, go to your church, and your church is going to bless you with the deposit money. So I did. I went to my church, and I was like, I'm moving, and I need to move, and I need this amount of money to move. And they gave me the money. And so then my neighbor, she had 2 rental cars, and me and her was talking, and she was like, you know, I'm trying to rent out my rental car to make some extra money. Do you know anybody? I'm like, yeah, I'll rent it from you. So I had a brand new 2019 Chevy Malibu, and you know what I'm saying, and I was moving. So he is officially I've been gang stalked before, but I was unaware, but he used to gang stalk the mess out of me. So when he drove by and he saw that new car outside and he saw like things moving, he tried to call me and argue with me, and I was just like, no, I'm being obedient. I'm not gonna deal with it. You know, he's made it clear. God is so good. Okay, so I'm gonna make part 2 right now.